as you can see, this isn't quite Canada, and Canada is where I was meant to be this week, but obviously that certain little C word has prevented me from getting there. But hey ho, worst things happen at sea. I'm still alive, I'm still breathing. So I've got a week off and I wanted to get out and get some photography done before the world is locked down again, because it is rapidly heading that way. And I find myself in Scotland. And I've resisted the temptation to go to Glencoe. I have come over to the Cairngorms region. Not somewhere I've really been before. I haven't got any plans as such. I have a couple of places that I want to get to, and other than that, it's just a case of driving around and seeing what I find. And this is one of these places. Now, I'll just turn you around slightly. I know the focus on this machine isn't brilliant when I'm doing a piece to camera, but this waterfall you can see, woo, here, I was hoping would be in full flow, because we have had a reasonable amount of rain. Because it's very unusual, all the rocks are sloping that way, and the waterfall sort of comes, or is trying to find its way down into this little river. This, I believe, is the overflow from the hydro centre, but I may be wrong. But I've just been faffing around trying to find a composition I quite liked. I'm not really convinced I've done it. The final shot I did was a portrait orientation. We've just finally got some blue sky coming in, so it's kind of nice to include that. The trees, as you can see, are silver birch, and they're just starting to turn. Got beautiful yellows and gold coming up in amongst the greens. Filter wise, all I had on was a polarizer just to take the sheen off, and for the shot up there with getting the sky in, I've just dropped a 0.6 soft grad in, because that's considerably brighter than any area down here, and I think that quite worked. I'm shooting, I believe, at f14, and it's about 0.6 of a second, and I'm shooting on the 10 to 20 because I wanted this fall as the foreground. So I've managed to retain a little bit of motion in the water without without having to use any other filters. Yeah, quite like that. So sunrise didn't happen. Sunrise was a complete bust. I stayed down on the end of Loch Rannoch, which was beautiful. I did a quick phone panoramic, so I'll pop that up next. That was a lovely view to wake up to this morning, but I knew deep down we weren't going to get a sunrise, so I didn't bother rushing out. And although Loch Rannoch is stunningly beautiful, for me at least this morning it didn't translate into an image, so I didn't even bother getting the camera out. So I kind of had a bit of a lie-in. Right, well that's it for this area. I'm going to head slightly further north, and a couple of spots to do. I am trying to concentrate a bit more on inland rather than seascapes, although I have got a couple of locations on the very north coast, kind of the very north coast, that I want to get to whilst I'm up this way. So I'll catch up with you in a bit. Well, it's not very often you find me walking down the high street in the pouring rain trying to find a photography location. And I think I'm going to have to stand behind a wall because this rain's just come down like you wouldn't believe. Holy rubbish, man. God. I'm going in search of a particular location. Makes me sound like I'm going off mountaineering or something. No, it's... Oh, literally just down the road. And this rain keeps sweeping in and then sweeping out again. Right, I'm going to stand here and wait for the rain to pass. Well, this rain doesn't seem to want to ease off. Ew. It's bizarre. The weather forecast is saying it's not raining. Yep, it's not raining at all. I don't know which window the weather forecast is looking out of, but it's certainly not one in this little town. This is a really sweet place. Carbridge. And the object that I'm here to shoot is a bridge. There's a really good bit of history that goes with this bridge. And if I could remember it, I'd tell you. I do recall it's something to do with, it was built to carry coffins on. And yeah, there you go. You can see it. That's all that's left of it. Bit of a sketchy looking thing, isn't it? With the water underneath it is coming down quite nicely. Oh yeah, there's quite a torrent coming on down there. Oh. They very kindly put some steps in that you can come down. You get to the viewing point. Oh yeah, that looks really nice. Look. Fair flowing. And there's a little bit of colour. All I need is the bloody sky to clear over. And that'll make quite a decent image. Oh, we've got a nice little bit of colour there. Nice little bit of colour there. Put the polarizer on. Get some darkness in the water. That'll work wonderfully. So it really is now just a case of standing and waiting for this biggin rain to give up. Well, it's kind of stopped raining. And this isn't the easiest of compositions to work. Got a bit of blue sky, which I know you can't see. Let's see if we can... No, we can't do anything with that. But trust me, it's there. Not a lot, but it's there. I'd like to be able to get all of this fall area in, along with that tree, because that tree's a lovely colour. Which tree is it? That tree there. I'd like to be able to get this tree in. However, if you come up here, oi, 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 you may not make it out, but just in the background through that gap is a building, which is some sort of outdoor activity centre, I believe. And I'd love to get this tree in, but I think I'm going to have to settle for that one. So before it decides to rain again, I'm going to get the camera out and have a go. Well, yes, maybe, possibly. It's ridiculously hard to get decent exposure down here. And I think it's mainly because the light's in the wrong place. Excuse me a second. That's a little bit better. Yeah. As with most images, it needed light to make it come to life. So I've moved, I was originally shooting from back here so that I could get all of this fall area in. But there was just something I didn't like. I couldn't tell you what it is, but there's just something that I didn't like. So I've then moved slightly further up. I say you're a little bit limited. I'm still debating whether to go down there, but I'm convinced it's not the best idea I've had. And I'm kind of angled the camera slightly more, having to be careful because there is also a building. Ooh, where is it? Just kind of in that gap. And I really don't want that in. But now the sun has decided to play ball. It's casting some glorious light on that red and golden coloured tree, which I'm kind of want to say is a beech tree, but it's probably not. It's also casting some lovely light on the underside of the pack horse bridge. Yeah, and it's lifted the image slightly. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to try and tweak my white balance slightly. That's better. I tried putting the 10 stop in at first. That didn't work. I've got the 6 stop in now. I just wanted to slow the water down a little bit. And then the clouds disappeared, and now they come back, and I think we're about to get very, very wet again. So this is probably going to be the last image. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, there's some highlights there that are blown. right on the horizon, so it's really difficult to expose for, and I should, I guess, really focus that, but can't bother. Just above here, where there's no greenery, it's considerably lighter, and that's causing a few blown highlights, but I think we'll be alright. The water again is that lovely yucky browny colour, and you can see it's not that gorgeous white, so the streaks leave a little bit to be desired. I quite like it. Now that we've got some sunlight, I'm just going to try one back here again. So I think I'm going to have to put you down. Whee! Unless I can do this in live view. Let's have a look. Yeah, and we've also got raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, or is it the other way around? Can't remember. Yeah, here comes the rain, so I'm going to have to pack up. This is going to be my last image. I think I'm going to head off, find a sleepy spot for this evening. Catch you in a bit.